You say that you want to lose weight. You say that your weight loss journey is important to you. You tell all of your friends, you tell your partner, you talk about how excited you are to start this new journey, start this new fitness routine. But your habits and how you choose to show up don't reflect you prioritizing it. You think that it's enough to be 100% during the week. You track your food, you hit your workouts, and then the weekend comes and you get happy hour with the girls Friday night. 2 glasses of wine turns into a whole bottle. You order that Domino's for yourself, not to share. You stop for takeout. You stop for Taco Bell through the drive-thru on the way home. And then you wake up hungover Sunday. You probably are door dashing more food, been there. And then you've got Sunday scaries. Or even worse, you decide to have a whole Sunday fun day just in an attempt to feel better. And then we're on a loop. During the week, you have so much guilt, so much shame over what you did on the weekend. So we're like, I need to be perfect. I need to be perfect. I need to do all the things. And we're suppressing how we feel. And then the weekend comes around and we just want to feel good. We just want to escape that feeling and that guilt and that shame. So we do it all over again. You are not showing up like your goals are important to you. If your goals are important to you, you are going to change what it is that you're doing. We cannot do the same things over and over again and expect different results. Hello, insanity. If you're trying to lose weight, but the weekends are your Achilles heel, the weekends are keeping you stuck, you keep falling off track on the weekends, I'm going to teach you guys the same tools that I used to lose 50 pounds without having to give up my social life, without having to cut out any foods that I loved, without having to quit drinking. If you didn't know, I lost 50 pounds before I became a fitness coach, and I was in my early 20s. So you better believe I still had my fair share of fun on the weekends. So I'm gonna teach you guys the same tools that I used and that my clients currently use to see results and to have a fun weekend and to still enjoy guilt-free while making sure they're still on track towards reaching their weight loss goals. You can enjoy anything in moderation, so it's time to stop spinning your wheels. It's time to stop trying to be perfect during the week and then blowing it out of the water on the weekends. What's up, guys? My name is Elise and I am a health and fitness coach here on a mission to help inspire you to lose weight, find your confidence, and manifest the body and the life of your dreams. Weight loss is hard, and we make it a lot harder on ourselves, especially on the weekends. So in this video today, I'm gonna talk with you guys through the exact things that I did to lose 50 pounds while still enjoying myself on the weekends, and the same tools that I teach my clients. Now, I am currently on a sobriety journey, a sober curious journey, if you will. But I'm not gonna preach that to you. If you would like to see a video on why I'm currently sober and that journey in and of itself, let me know, but that is not today's video. Today's video is how to still enjoy drinking while on your fitness journey. So let's dive on in. The first thing before we get into the tools and the strategies that you can use, we really want to get clear on who it is that you're becoming. That identity shift is so crucial and pivotal to whether or not you're going to see results on your fitness journey long term, right? If you don't see yourself as a different version, no wonder you're still doing the same things on the weekends that you did to gain all the weight in the first place. So we need to get clear on who it is that you're becoming, the identity that you are embodying, and how you're showing up now and what is no longer aligned with you. You can't be the healthy fit girl during the week, Monday through Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday come and you're the party girl, hungover in bed girl, door dashing food the next day on Sunday girl. Say it's important to you, but yet your actions and how you're choosing to show up don't reflect that. And so your results don't reflect that. You track all your food during the week, you hit your workouts during the week, and then the weekend comes and you're back doing the same old crap you've always done. The weekends are enough to completely throw you off track and to have you spinning your wheels to where you're not making any progress towards your goals. Like, how frustrating is that? I'm sorry, but I'm working out, I'm eating right on the week, and then I'm blowing it on the weekend. That sucks. That literally sucks. What's the point? What's the point of the week? What's the point? What's the point? You're not gonna get anywhere. Right? So we need to get a clear idea of like, this is who I am now, and be consistent with that new identity. It's not black and white. So we need to let go of the all or nothing mentality. And I'm gonna show you guys how to enjoy things in moderation, guilt-free, while still making progress towards your weight loss goals. To go along with that sort of all or nothing during the week versus the weekend, it is really important too, before we dive into those strategies, that you have a sustainable nutrition protocol and calorie target. I've heard it so many times where women come to me and they're like, well, you know, Elise, I've cut my calories down to 1,200 before, and I lost weight. It worked for me in the past, 1,200 calories. So that's kind of what I want to do now. And okay, cool. Yeah, you might have lost weight, but it clearly didn't work if you're coming to me asking me for weight loss advice or coming to me to hire me as your coach, right? Like, they clearly didn't work. Otherwise, you wouldn't be asking these questions. You would have lost the weight and kept it off. So that didn't work. The low calorie restriction is too much. It's not sustainable. You might lose a couple pounds pretty quickly, but then your body goes into overdrive. I just made a video actually on metabolic adaptation that kind of goes into more detail on that. I'll go ahead and link it below if you want to go ahead and learn a little bit more about that. But we cannot be eating too little. It's not gonna work. Your body doesn't wanna lose weight. So you're like making it even harder for yourself. So we wanna make sure that during the week that you're not overly restricting yourself and that your body isn't feeling overly deprived to the point where we go into binge mode on the weekend and we wanna eat anything in sight and eat it as soon as it's available to us. So we wanna make sure that we are setting ourselves up for success long-term on your weight loss journey. Losing weight takes time. We can't cut corners. So making sure that your deficit is sustainable and conservative and that you have room to fully cut later on. So I'm very big on a conservative calorie deficit. My clients know I always start them as high as we possibly can, and we make progress eating as much food as we can for as long as we can, and then we decrease from there and make pivots. We don't want to start all the way down here, right? So making sure that you're getting enough and that you're not feeling restricted and deprived during the week is going to help make sure that we're not like binging and like the pendulum swing, right? We don't want that pendulum swinging all the way. We want that pendulum swing to be like, yeah, okay, cool, I'm balanced, I'm good. So that is kind of the top two things that you really want to consider and think about before we get into those strategies, is making sure that you're clear on who it is that you're becoming and that we are showing up consistently in alignment with that person and that version of ourselves. And then two, making sure that we have a sustainable, balanced calorie deficit and plan in place, and that it's not all or nothing, and that it's not overly restrictive to where we're like fighting our primal and natural urges to make sure that we're getting enough food and that our body has enough energy in place. Okay, so the first tool is to pick your treat. Alcohol or dessert. You don't need both. And I'm fortunate enough to where I feel like I've never been a like drunk eater. I've been a drinker. I'll drink and I won't stop, but I've never been the person to like drink and then eat all the food. Like, I'm either one or the other. I'm either eating all the food or I'm drinking all the drinks. So for me on my weight loss journey, that was very easy. I could have a few drinks without it being like, oh my gosh, now I'm gonna eat everything. That was never like permission mentally for me. So if you are somebody who tends to drink and then eat a bunch of food, like drunk food, that is something that for you definitely wanna get clear on. We get one treat. You don't need both, okay? And so that is part of it, and having an idea of who it is that you're becoming and how they're showing up. And to piggyback off of that, tool number 2 is to plan as your elevated self, plan as your higher self, plan as the person that you're shifting and becoming and embodying. So a part of that plan is picking, okay, I'm going out to dinner this weekend with my girlfriends. I'm gonna have 2 glasses of wine. I'm gonna skip on the cheesecake. Planning as your higher self means looking at the menu ahead of time, taking a look at the healthier options that are gonna support your goals. Planning ahead as your higher self means prioritizing protein and veggies while eating out, having something that tastes good that's probably a lot better than your meal prep at home, but that is still aligned with your goals. Planning as your higher self means pre-logging the food and the drinks that you're planning on having. So before my clients head into the weekend, if they have plans to go out, I always have them pre-log their entire, let's say they're going out with their girlfriends Saturday. Okay, let's front load your day. Let's get your workout in that morning. Let's make sure we're hitting our steps throughout the day. Let's go ahead and have your breakfast, your normal go-to healthy breakfast full of protein. Let's make sure that we have your lunch pre-logged. You have a game plan in place. And then let's go ahead and look at the menu before you go to the restaurant so that you can make a choice as your higher self and for your future self. That way we don't get there and we're like, ooh, peer pressure, or ooh, this is what I'm feeling like now. We can take all of that out of now because we've taken a look at our whole day and thought about how I'm gonna show up that evening with the girls. I have a plan in place. It's already in MyFitnessPal or whatever app that you use to track. I always use MyFitnessPal, so that's what I always say. But now you know you're still on track towards reaching your calorie goal for the day. You're still in a deficit. You are still getting your protein. You're pre-logging those treats, whether that is the cheesecake for dessert or whether you are going to have, 2 glasses of wine. So you're putting those in ahead of time. We are having a plan in place. It's already in there. You're already on track. You already made sure, moved things around, thought about it in advance so that you already know, okay, cool. I'm going to go out, enjoy. I'm going to have a drink or 2, and I'm still going to wake up the next day feeling like I'm on track. That's an enjoyable experience, right? You're able to have the few glasses of wine guilt-free, and so you don't end up overdoing it. If you give yourself permission to enjoy, that is an enjoyable experience. When we tell ourselves, no, I can't have that, I'm on a diet, I'm on my weight loss journey, I can't do any of this is bad food, I can't have too many drinks, that's when we can only tell ourselves no for so long, let's be honest, okay? Willpower does eventually go out. It does dwindle. And so when we have a plan in place, when we can say, you know what, I give myself permission to enjoy, I've already pre-logged it, I know this isn't gonna ruin my goals, you get to really be present and in the moment, and your mind ends up being in an enjoyable, relaxed, and at peace state to where you get to be present with your friends and you're there. You're not worried about your weight loss. You're not like beating yourself up because you know you shouldn't be eating that, or you know you're overdoing it. Like, that is so unenjoyable. And I've said this before, that like, if your whole life is an accumulation of that kind of thought of not being able to enjoy and be present and feel confident and have fun in the moment because you're beating yourself up over things that you know you shouldn't be doing, what is the point? Again, what is the point? I feel like that's the theme of this video. What's the point? What are we doing all this for? Okay, so have a plan as your higher self, give yourself permission to enjoy the things, pre-log it, make it work, and it'll be an enjoyable experience. And you'll wake up the next morning ready to get back after it, and you're still on track towards reaching your goals while having the things that you enjoy and love. Okay, tool number 3, when it comes to alcohol, we want to prioritize the things that, 1, are easily trackable, and 2, things that aren't full and loaded of sugar. My personal go-tos, my favorites, I love a tequila soda water. It is literally just the tequila and the soda water. It's one of the healthiest kind of ways to drink, or a vodka soda water. It's going to be 80 calories. I know exactly what's in it. Very easy for me to pre-log into MyFitnessPal. Other than things like soda water or wine that's very easily tracked, wine is typically a little bit higher in calorie, so if that's what you're having, I love a chicken parm and a red glass of wine. Just Love it, love it, love it, love it. That was my go-to cheat meal when I was losing weight, and still kind of is my go-to cheat meal. I love a chicken parm and red glass of wine. But when I was actually losing weight, this was when high noons first kind of came out and were super popular. Now we have all sorts of like seltzers like that. But high noons back in the day, gosh, back in the day, back in like 2020, when I was really in the bulk and the height of my weight loss, that was my go-to drink. And how easy for me to log and track. I knew there was 100 calories. So if I had 3 of them, 300 calories, I'd have a high protein, salad with chicken, packed avocado. I would get all my micronutrients, all my whole foods, and I would enjoy, a couple high noons. And that was really kind of my go-to in the height of my weight loss. That was the drink, my drink of choice, I guess you could say. As I, throughout the years, I love a tequila soda water again. But find what works for you. If we can stray away from beer, even beer is pretty easy to track. I never liked beer. I've never liked beer. Ever. This is gonna be weird. I'm gonna tell you guys this. I've always thought that beer tastes the way Play-Doh smells. Like, I don't know, it's gross. It tastes gross to me. So not my thing, but if it's your thing, find one that works for you and that is very easy to track. And again, pre-log. That's all I'm gonna say. This next one is gonna be more so strategies for when you're eating out with friends at a restaurant. 1, we're looking at that menu ahead of time. We already know that. And then 2, can you share? Like, are your friends also on a health and fitness journey? Do your friends also have similar priorities to you? Can you share a meal? Me and my best girlfriend, we're like both same page. We're like, you know what? The portions are crazy. We're not gonna eat all of this food. Let's get something, let's split it. We'll get another plate. Then our bill is cheaper too. It's like the portions are too much. So can you split a meal? Same thing goes for dessert. Can you have a few bites of the dessert? You don't need a whole big cheesecake from Cheesecake Factory. I love the Oreo cheesecake from Cheesecake Factory, but you don't need the whole thing, right? Like, what a sugar bomb, what a calorie bomb. That is gonna ruin your progress. That is not gonna be enjoyable to eat, because the whole time you're eating it, you are knowing like, all right, I'm literally sabotaging myself right now. So what if you had a few bites of that cheesecake with your girlfriend and you were present and you pre-logged it ahead of time and you were able to really just enjoy it and enjoy the moment and slow down and taste the food that you're having. After a few bites, usually you're like, yeah, I'm good. I'm satisfied. I had that. Instead of like feeling like you can't have it and then eating the whole thing quickly and like not enjoyably at all. So 2 cents on that. Another strategy for eating out, if you're not in a place where you're gonna split a whole meal, my favorite sort of hack tool that I use to this day is to be intentional about the portion that I'm gonna eat. And so as soon as I get my food, I ask for that to-go plate or my to-go box. So as soon as the waiter brings me my food, I have my to-go box. I'm gonna go ahead and really portion out exactly what it is that I plan on having. That way we're not getting to like the end of the meal where I'm done, I'm stuffed, but yet I'm still eating because we're waiting for the bill or because conversation's going and we're mindlessly eating. Being intentional and being mindful about making that choice of how much is actually a proper portion and putting the rest aside for the next day is a game changer. I still do this all the time. Or even usually now at this point, I just split it on my plate and then wait. But I make that decision ahead of time. Like, this is how much of this entire plate that I'm planning on eating. And it's enough. That way I'm not overeating just out of like boredom or just out of like waiting or just because it's in front of me and it's there. Next tool I love, it is mental rehearsal. Visualizing how you're gonna show up. Because I can't tell you how many times I have pre-logged, right? And said, this is the plan. And then I get out and about and the little devil on my shoulder is like, hey, one more drink. Hey, one more bite. It won't kill you. It'll be fun. Okay, and then I wake up and I'm like, oh shoot. oops, oops, oops. I had a plan. I did the things I was told to do. I did everything right, but it still didn't work. So mental rehearsal, as I always do this as I'm getting ready. So for the evening, I'm curling my hair, I'm putting my makeup on, I've got some fun music on. I also love listening to like getting ready meditations. The Activations app is awesome. I've been listening to that, using that app for a long time. They've got great like getting ready meditations to help you kind of get in the mood and visualize how you want to show up. But just like thinking about the night, playing it out like it's a movie in your head, main character energy. You are that healthy, fit girl. How does she walk into the room? What's her confidence like? What does she choose to eat? How much is she eating? Is she practicing mindfully eating and chewing her food all the way? Is she getting water instead of a Coke? What are you doing? Embody and visualize and practice in your head how you want to show up that night so that you can show up in alignment with your higher self and with the version of you that you're becoming. Practicing it is going to help solidify it and make it that much easier to when you're in the moment and you have that little devil on your shoulder trying to steer you wrong, that you already have practiced that, you've already embodied it. It makes it so much easier. So definitely a good tool that I really enjoy. Part of that visualization is also thinking about how the choices you're making are going to make you feel. You're at the restaurant and you see a pretzel and beer cheese. Yum. But you know you're gonna feel like your belly is extended. You're gonna feel tired. You're gonna feel bloated. You're gonna feel heavy. You're gonna feel bogged down. Think about the food choice that you're making versus if you got a salad with chicken and the avocado and all the things, you're probably gonna feel like light and energized and ready to go and do more. So as you're visualizing, visualize it to a T. Visualize kind of that devil and angel on your shoulder choice and go down that rabbit hole in your mind and your imagination and how that food would actually make you feel. How what it is that you're doing is going to make you feel, not only physically, but then also mentally the next day. The last tool is very basic, but choose active activities. My best girlfriend and I, we love to go for dinner and then we'll go stroll around downtown. We'll stop at the ice cream shop. It smells so good, like waffle cones when you first walk in. We love it. We just walk in and it's so good. I used to work at a ice cream yogurt shop when I was in high school and I used to love making the waffle cones. So that smell just, it's the best thing ever. But we make a choice. We get the small cup, we get our ice cream, we enjoy it. We didn't get too much of it or overindulge to the point where we don't feel good physically and about the choice that we made. And then we go for another walk around outside afterwards. We hit our step goal for the day. We moved our bodies. We enjoyed what we wanted to enjoy. We enjoyed each other's company. We had the sweet treat and we're still on track towards reaching our goals and living that healthy lifestyle. You can have both. Think about the activities you currently do with your friends. Let's say you go to the beach. We crack open a cold one. We have some chips. We lay out in the sun for a few hours. Okay, how can we make that more aligned with the version of you that's lost the weight, that has what you want? Maybe we go for a beach walk with our friends instead. Maybe we get an acai bowl after the beach walk and we enjoy. Maybe we go swimming in the ocean, making those better choices, picking those healthier activities, moving your body. Maybe you go after dinner with your girlfriends and you guys go dance. Have a drink or two and just dance. Move your body, hit your step goal, pick those active activities. Along with that, are your friends supporting your goals? Or do they just want to keep you stuck? Ask yourself if your friends, if you would rather be any one of them, If you would rather their life, their body, their health, their finances, how they take care of themselves, their relationships, would you want what they have in their life? Would you trade your life for theirs? Most times, the answer is no. And if the answer is no, and they're not on board to doing something more active with you or to splitting that meal with you, it is time for new friends. Okay, I think I said the last tool was the last one, but it's not. This is actually the last one. Because we can't expect to be perfect. You are gonna have times where you fall off track. You are gonna have a bad weekend. But we wanna make sure that we're not having a bad weekend every weekend and then we're falling off track every single weekend and starting over again every single Monday. Maybe one bad weekend in 2 months, not the end of the world. That's not enough to throw you off. If it's a bad weekend every other weekend, yes, that's probably gonna stall your progress. So the biggest thing that we wanna do if we do have an off weekend, if we're feeling that guilt, feeling that shame, feeling like we ruined it all, please give yourself a little bit of grace, please, and reflect. Reflect, journal, walk yourself through the previous weekend of maybe not the best choices, and ask yourself, if you had a magic wand and could do it all over again, what would you do differently? Journal it out, write it out, talk to yourself, do a voice memo, whatever it's gonna do. Because if we're falling off track, okay, but can we at least learn from it? Can we at least not do the same thing next time? That is how you're gonna grow. That is how you're gonna let go of those limiting beliefs. That is how you're gonna stop doing the same things and the same cycles and the same routines and habits that have been keeping you stuck and that have kept you fat, unhappy, uncomfortable, and hating your body, hating your life. We have to pivot. We have to reflect. Don't beat yourself up. Give yourself that love, and let's pick yourself up and keep moving on. And if you do all of these things and you feel like you're still not making progress, sometimes you do have to get to a point where you ask yourself, if it's worth it, what's the point? What's the point? If my weekends are actually making me miserable, what's the point? If I'm trying to escape from my shame and like what it is that I actually want and from my potential, and I think I'm having all this fun on the weekend, but really I'm just like masking how I actually feel underneath, what's the point? Sometimes you do have to make sacrifices. Sometimes you do have to say, no, not right now. Sometimes you do have to say and change your mind that, I don't want that. I can have that treat. I can overindulge, but I don't want to anymore. Sometimes you just have to become that version of you, make those sacrifices, and completely change your lifestyle and your identity. If you keep doing what you've always done, nothing's ever gonna change. So I'm just gonna leave you with that. I hope you guys all have a great weekend. I hope you show up as your higher self this weekend. This video valuable. I would love it. It would mean the world if you would go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm making videos every Wednesday and Friday to help you on your health and fitness journey. Peace out.